For years, we as students have been forced to learn a curriculum that we may or may not have any interest in. That curriculum may not even be required for our future career choice. I'm not speaking out against the requirements of a math class or a science class or an English class, no. I'm speaking out about the requirements of an American history class. I do feel as though American history after junior high should become an option, an elective to be specific, rather than a requirement to pass through high school. And here's why. American history, like most history, is biased. You never get the full inclusion of an historical event. I'll give a great example. When talking about the Civil Rights Movement, what do you hear? You hear about the tormented African American citizens, and you hear about specific movements led by Martin Luther King Jr., essentially speaking. But here's why I say you never get the full inclusion or the full story of a specific historical event. Not many people indoctrinated by Western civilization of today know about the Black Panther Party, and if so, ask yourself this: who are their founders, and what was their primary goal? Can't tell me, can you? Mind you, this is an extremely important group, an extremely important puzzle piece to the Civil Rights Movement, and some people don't have much information on it. Now, to not be biased towards African American history, do you know who Joseph Hernandez is? How much information can you give me on the Blackfoot Native American tribe? When was the first Latin American bank created? These are important groups or events that are in American history. Some may ask, why do you think American history is biased? I give you a great response. Martin Luther King Jr. preached peace over violence. He wanted others to turn the other cheek to gain peace, and that was the primary subject I was taught in American history class. Meanwhile, you have Malcolm X, who preached defend yourself by any means necessary, which was more of a violent approach. Now, people in Western civilization may not appreciate that, which is why the Martin Luther King mindset of peace is always pushed. So there's the biased mindset in American history. Ask yourself this to further prove my point. Why is American history the only type of history that's not an elective? Latin American history, that's an elective. Native American history, that's an elective. African American history, that's an elective. When all of these are all part of American history. Bias, right? I do hope you take my thoughts into consideration with an open mind, and thank you.